for joining me once again. Hi, my name is Linda Ndungane and welcome to Thriving with Linda. So really this series is for people who have a strong desire and determination to stay positive, stay focused and succeed. I share what I have learned, what I have seen work from people who definitely know better than me and those who are willing to share their experiences so we can help each other and grow.
So I just want to get into a space where we can talk, we can share, and I'm hoping you're going to send me that DM, you're going to send me that email where we can just chat about how you're doing in your space. So today, in today's session, we're just going to talk about thriving as creatives, thriving as people who are creators, who start concepts from nothing, from a mere conversation and turn it into a super billboard. I'm trying to find the word. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of actually the drip billboards that I see when I drive on the N1, and there's one now that's actually close to my house, the N1 highway, so the Johannesburg one. I'm in South Africa, for those that are listening in from outside of Africa. Within Africa, I'm at the bottom there, the South African Mzansi girl. So yeah, I was thinking about that right now, and yeah, it just spoke to me that it's actually it's bold. What they did there was quite bold. So just how we thrive and how we can be bold in our space, because I've had experiences with operating with creatives that shy away from speaking out, so myself included in some instances. I think I'm now getting to a point where I don't get as frustrated as if someone does not understand the concept that I'm selling or the creative I want. I don't get worried that, it seems like I was misunderstood or I have to explain it over and over again. Before, I would cringe, I would walk away, I'd give up, I would just be like, okay, let's do the old boring stuff. Let's not even, until I learned, and I want to share what I learned and what I was taught. Okay, besides the stay calm, breathe, and use your voice effectively to communicate value. So that should have been number one, but it's not. It's not part of the notes that I had of my 3 pointers that I wanted to share. But it's actually great to work on how you communicate your value, because if you don't know how to pitch your value and state it even before you give your actual creative brief life, you lose people. And I've seen it. I've seen myself going into a presentation to deliver. This is the idea. This is how we came up with the idea. This is the first concept. This is how it would be communicated. This is the messaging and how it should land. And this is how we're going to measure it. And by the time you get to the measuring, you lost everybody. I would have lost everybody because of how I've pitched. So I think on that one, for the number one in this session of ours, for just thriving as a creative, is to take time. I think that's one of the most important. I think everything is important, everything. I promise you, everything is important. But maybe if we do it in order, I would say take time to listen and understand the people that you're dealing with. Your target audience is very important. And I can't even tell the story because then it will be so obvious. But I can. So, and know your target, know what they are doing, where they are, who they interact with, what they like, what they don't like, but especially where to find them. I think that's, where to find, it's very important. So this individual was saying to me, we have to put out an explanatory video on Facebook for this particular group of people, and we are going to then put an infographic on LinkedIn. This is now for a campaign that's supposed to target, let's just say the target is below 25. So these people have just left high school, they've probably getting themselves together university wise, and we're trying to say to them, we need your data, we need to find out certain things about a product. And I'm saying, why would we be explaining, putting so much money? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I felt that the particular audience, so there's other things to this audience, and hence my argument was, we're not going to find them on Facebook. They're not sitting on Facebook. They're not the generation that kicked off with Facebook. They have Facebook because they don't have a choice. There's certain groups that are there. There's certain things that draw them to Facebook, but they wouldn't jump at Facebook as the first thing to get a message. Yes, we could, funnel it, but for this to work, we would have to go to a platform like TikTok, where we do it in short form, and we are then intentional about how that information is converted to different forms that we can share on messenger apps, and we find our people. And I was even saying, I don't know the last time I interacted with this particular group and heard anyone talk about radio. And I'm a radio person. I love radio. I listen to a lot of radio. But when I look at the research for this particular group, they're listening to podcasts, they're streaming, YouTube. So if I wanted to get a message, I would not go traditional media. And for me, there's certain platforms who are now traditional. You just shouldn't bother if you haven't listened, if you haven't taken the time to really dig deep on your audience. And number two, I think the thinking we're always saying think out of the box. So as creatives, we're forced to think out of the box. You must always see the box, and then you must be outside of it. But honestly, for me, innovation, it doesn't mean thinking up something that someone else hasn't. It's about taking what is there and spinning it so it lands differently. I don't know if you get me. There's nothing that exists that we have to start from scratch to create. Everything is here already, but it's what we do with it that gives the sense of wow. I think for creatives is give the sense of wow. That's my thing. Like, give the sense of wow, and to thrive as being a creator. And nowadays it's yes, do, now, deliver, push. But the wow, you won't get wow unless you are invested. And being invested means understanding and listening carefully. So you see why I was saying it's important. And I think I've fallen trap to not being a great listener, where I would listen to what the objective is, but not how, or not the story behind the objective. So an example. So the objective is a cleaner community, as an example. But the backstory is no one comes to clean. Dustbins are not taken on time. The rubbish is not collected. The children mess the streets. They just eat their lunches, take their lunch boxes out when they come back from school, and they just throw the stuff on the street. So the community is filthy. So the objective is, it's a drive for a cleaner community. But how do you then get there? There's things that are not in place in that community. Already you pick up, it's everyone from the smallest, from the youngest, all the way. It's just bad. Then you have to check what has led to that. There's certain behaviors. And by the time you're done, though that is the main objective, when you then break it down as a creative, you speak to the personal. You are then speaking directly to that individual in that space, and not just what the client wants to achieve, the client's objective, but does it make sense to this person that we are driving this change, that we want the environment to be clean? Why? What's the big deal about it? So creating that big deal. It's like we have more money because people want to visit and find out what is it that we did to make this place so beautiful. Like, we are beautiful people. Imagine it, but you cannot say that in a campaign and then the place is filthy. So for that person to own it, and that creative, that they're a beautiful person in a beautiful place, and I know it's a silly example right now, but that's what we meant to do. And if we don't, trust me, we lose as creatives, we lose. So yeah, anyway, those are the tips. This is just me having a bit of a rant, I think, as well. So this is just my creatives rant. I'm ranting on behalf of all the creatives. all the creatives out there. Just for us to also bear in mind these things that I've mentioned. But let me sum up and wrap up, so you can have a lovely day further. Whatever time it is on your side, I'm wishing you a wonderful time. So for me, these are the most effective tips to help you thrive as a creative. Listen carefully. Actively. So active listening is I don't want to use that word again, but it's key to successful communication. There, I found a way of saying it without using that word. So take time to listen. Be that person, because it will change your life as a creative. Speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up and express yourself. Remember earlier I was on about how, sometimes you lose it before you've even succeeded, because you are none the wiser. You have not planned. You have not looked forward. What do you want to achieve? And if you know, you will know when it's time to speak confidently and use your voice to get your message across. And it won't happen in all audiences. For anyone. Sometimes you've done so well. You are up there. You are up there in the ranks. But your message doesn't filter the way it's supposed to all the time. It won't happen all the time. And what do? So you work on yourself. So discernment. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to achieve. This is how great it's supposed to be. Embrace feedback. Sure. feedback is so I have to use the word important again. I'm so bad, but it's essential. Let's just say that for my sake of the use of this word. Feedback is essential. Like, don't be afraid to ask for feedback. And I think when we are criticized, everybody, no one likes it. Everybody has a way that they handle criticism, and sometimes negative, let's say it's not constructive criticism, but it's negative feedback or just a negative result. Some of us have not learned how to handle that well, but in order to thrive as creatives, we have to be able to filter out what will bring us life in order to move on and deliver on what we have to do, and what will kill the spirit and make us lose our path, lose the creativity that we need. Because some things you are asked to adapt, some things you know you're right, but unfortunately client is right. There's always this conversation I have every now and again. It's like, yeah, just deal. Client gets what client wants. Leader gets what leader wants. Boss gets what boss wants. And it's up to us how we embrace the feedback. So take time, reflect, and know who you are in the midst of receiving. So it's not about you as a person. It's about what you have produced. Not it's what is being seen. It's not you as a person. And I think that's always nice to remember. It's great to remember. At the time when you are heated in receiving, it's not easy to be in the embracing. So bear in mind that part. So with these tips in mind, remember, everything is a two-way street. Be open and never forget to create already by being who you are, by allowing yourself by allowing people to see your work in a form of visuals, in a form of images, in a form of sound, in a form of paint, in a form of you standing and speaking, in the form of you being a broadcaster, in the form of you being, I wanna add this, but maybe I shouldn't. But you giving birth to things live, it's amazing. It's just amazing. Just amazing. Too amazing. You are amazing. And thank you for sticking around for Thriving with Linda, the session where I am keeping it together for us as creatives, because there's a long road ahead to changing how you change people's mindsets. All the time. Ever changing. Abundant blessings to you and yours. Bye.
Thank you for joining me for this session. If you liked what you heard and believe it can help someone, please share, rate us, subscribe. Abundant blessings to you and yours. Bye.